Welcome back to Nuna's channel. Enjoy! Hyung and Nuna. In this recap, you'll witness a man being attacked by a terrifying worm monster. Desperate to survive, he grips his long knife tightly, stabbing the creature with all his strength as he fights for his life. The man's name is Kim Tae-han, an ordinary porter trying to make a living. As he sat on the ground, breathless and exhausted, his eyes remained fixed on the grotesque corpse of the monster he had just slain. His hands trembled, still gripping the bloodied knife. Suddenly, a loud voice echoed through the battlefield. "Hey! What are you doing? Get up!" Snapping out of his daze, Tae-han turned his head toward the source of the voice. His eyes widened in shock. Before him, a chaotic battle was unfolding, awakeners clashing with countless monsters, their abilities lighting up the battlefield. The ground trembled beneath their power, and the air was thick with the sounds of battle. For a mere porter like Tae-han, this was a sight he was never meant to be a part of. As Tae-han busily looted the crystals from the monster he had just killed, a thought lingered in his mind. If I could become an awakener, I could finally live a good life. The idea filled him with hope, no more struggling, no more risking his life as a mere porter. With power, he could change everything. But just as he was lost in his thoughts, he glanced toward the awakeners battling in the distance, and his body froze. His breath hitched. His hands trembled. His eyes widened in horror. All the strong awakeners he had been working with were gone. Annihilated. The battlefield, which had once been filled with flashes of power and confident warriors, was now littered with lifeless bodies. One monster stood victorious, with grotesque forms towering over the fallen. A cold chill ran down Tae-han's spine. What the hell just happened? Suddenly, the ground trembled. A chilling presence filled the air, suffocating everything around it. Then, it appeared. A giant monster loomed over the battlefield, its body shrouded in a dark, ominous aura. Its massive horns curved menacingly, and its red, squinted eyes burned with an eerie glow. But what was most terrifying? It had no nose, no mouth, just pure, unrelenting malice radiating from its form. Ranked monster, Asmodeus. A being of hell itself. A creature so powerful that even the strongest awakeners had no hope of defeating it. Tae-han felt his knees weaken. His breath came in shallow gasps. This is impossible. Despair weighed down on him as he realized, no one was getting out of here alive. Tae-han lunged forward, gripping his weapon with all his strength. He aimed for the monster's body, pouring every ounce of desperation into his attack. But, his blade never reached. Before the weapon could make contact, Asmodeus raised its hand. A sudden, invisible force erupted from its palm. Shriv! Tae-han's eyes widened in horror. His hand, his entire arm, was torn apart. He didn't even see the attack. Pain. Unimaginable pain. It consumed him instantly, a burning agony unlike anything he had ever felt. His body crumpled to the ground. His vision blurred, his screams of agony filling the battlefield. It hurts. It hurts so much. Tears streamed down his face as he writhed in pain, powerless. He had never stood a chance. Tae-han gritted his teeth, his breath ragged as he clutched his severed arm. Blood dripping between his fingers. His vision wavered. But his eyes remained locked onto the towering nightmare before him. Asmodeus moved. Slowly, the monster raised its hand and pointed a single blackened finger at Tae-han. A flicker of crackling energy gathered at its tip, dark, violent, like lightning twisted by something unnatural. Before Tae-han could react. Zap! A blinding bolt pierced his forehead. His body convulsed. A sharp, burning pain spread through his skull, consuming every nerve in his body. His limbs went numb. The world around him blurred. This is it. Helplessness crushed him once more. No strength. No power. His mind raced, drowning in despair. How am I supposed to defeat something like this? Darkness crept into his vision. His thoughts faded. His body fell. As Tae-han gritted his teeth, barely holding on to consciousness, a sudden notification appeared before his fading vision. Awakening, the condition has been met. Before he could process what it meant, a blinding light erupted from the sky. The battlefield was swallowed in brilliance, making it almost impossible to see. Everything turned white. Then, a figure emerged. A white silhouette of a man stood in the heart of the radiant glow. From above, a golden staircase descended from the heavens. Step by step, the mysterious figure began to descend, his presence unlike anything Taehan had ever seen before. Taehan's heart pounded in his chest. His breathing grew ragged as he stared in disbelief. What was this? Is it a monster? Or a human? He questioned himself, his mind unable to grasp the situation. But before he could think any further, Asmodeus moved. The SSS-ranked nightmare took a slow, deliberate step toward Taehan, preparing to end him once and for all. Taehan couldn't move. He could only watch as death approached. But then, a powerful voice echoed through the battlefield. Asmodeus, stopped! The white figure's voice boomed like thunder. And to Taehan's utter shock, Asmodeus froze. As Taehan stared at the white man in awe, his heart pounded with uncertainty. With a trembling voice, he asked, Who are you? The white man looked at him, his expression unreadable. I don't know, he said calmly. Some call me king. Before Taehan could respond, the man continued, from today onward, I shall bestow upon you an authority. Taehan's eyes widened. Authority? He repeated, confusion laced in his voice. The white man raised his hand, and suddenly, a blinding light engulfed everything. Taehan felt his body grow weak. His vision darkened. His consciousness slipped away. When he woke up, his head throbbed, and his vision was blurred by the intense light above him. Slap! A stinging pain exploded on his cheek as a hand struck his face with great force. His eyes shot open, the world around him still hazy. His cheek burned. His head spun. And then, he recognized the man standing over him. Bae-hyuk-soo. His good-for-nothing classmate. Taehan gritted his teeth. What the hell was happening? As Taehan lay on the ground, beaten and disoriented, a sudden glow flickered before his eyes. A status window appeared out of nowhere. His name, age, rank, and skills were clearly written on it. His breath hitched. His hands trembled as he read the details. Then, it hit him. A realization so shocking it sent chills down his spine. He had regressed. 16 years into the past. Silence filled his mind. His lips curled upward. And then... Ha! Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! A deep, maniacal laugh burst from his throat as he clutched his aching ribs. His classmates stepped back, staring at him in shock. What the hell? Did he finally lose it? Why is he laughing after getting beat up? Taehan didn't care. Not one bit. This wasn't despair. This was the greatest moment of his life. Suddenly... Bam! Without warning, Taehan threw a devastating punch. A single blow, packed with monstrous strength. Crack! Bae-hyuk-soo's body flew and landed on floor. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. What just happened? Taehan's knuckles tingled from the force of the hit. And then, tears poured down his face. Not from pain. Not from fear. But from overwhelming joy. Because aside from regressing 16 years into the past, he had also awakened.